What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel, Sound Dope. My name is Lazy Boy. I go by the name of Laze. Today we're going to talk about how to quickly arrange your song. Let's say you have a beat idea and you have maybe 8 or 16 bars, right? Now you want to lay it out across the grid. You may be having problems like dragging and dropping big chunks of all your tracks over and the stuff is out of sync. You're sitting there trying to align things. An hour later, you're towards the end of the song and stuff is just shifted all over the place by just that much. You can't even see it, but you're listening to it and it sounds bad. It's unprofessional. Somebody's in the booth trying to lay something down. So I'm going to show you the easiest trick to save time, because I know you're probably working on your track right now. You typed it in YouTube real quick to see if you can find an answer and you landed here. So let's get to it. That's enough talking. Let's hop into the session. All right, so we're in Logic Pro now. And the first thing that I usually do is I add a little space here. I already did it. I'll just show you. See if I hover right here, this icon, let me bring it back. Usually you're kind of like that where it starts on bar 1, there's no space here to the left. So to open that up, I'll just highlight this and drag it. And I do this with every song because I need space right here. If you bounce the song into an MP3 later or a WAV file, it's not going to bounce anything that's in this area. It starts everything on measure 1. Also, we are going to use this cycle loop section. And you can see right there it says cycle range when I hover over it, cycle range, and we've got 16 bars. So I was making the beat and I made it 16 bars long, and then I felt like, all right, this is a good ending point. Let me go ahead and now copy this and turn it into a song. So let's lay out the arrangement. You'll see I'll have some, let me zoom in a little bit. I have some WAV files here, so some stuff was bounced. I actually started this in Ableton Live and then brought it over. Then I ended up doing the hi-hats here in Logic. And then I've got some delay stuff that comes in, and then a little synth vocal sound. Right? But I feel like that's pretty much it. Let me get rid of that. That's pretty much it, and that is my good loop. All right, so we're going to work with that now, and what we need to do is we need to make sure that we highlight the 16 bars and you see everything snaps nicely. If yours isn't snapping, here's where you select smart and then snap to grid. These are my settings, and it should be set to that by default. Then I've got this custom display here. I always use this if yours doesn't have it, which by default now, the last few versions of Logic, they've been doing it. They've been starting it with Beats and Project, which, to be honest with you, I don't know, they're trying to make it on some beginner stuff or something, where you can select the key and the BPM, but you can't select, 0.5. It won't allow you to do that. It won't allow you to do that unless you go to custom, and then you can do 0.5 or whatever you want, 106.5 or 0.4 or 0.5, whatever. All right, so we've got our 16 bar loop and we want to copy this over. So the old school way of how I used to do it years ago when I first started, so I'd be like, okay, I like this loop idea, then I would try to copy it over. So this is how you can copy it over, right? So option, if you hold the option key down, select, hold the option key, click, and then drag. And you can see this little plus sign lights up, that little green plus sign, and then I can slide it over. It snaps to 33, let go, and bam. But the issue with this is that if I lay my whole song out like this, let's say I do this, lay my whole song, and then let's say this is the verse, then this is the hook. So for the verse, I want to take these out. Then I got the second verse here. Then I got the hook here. It's another 16. Everything is 16 bars, right? So I've got 16, 16, and then this is going to be maybe the bridge. Look, something happened right here. It didn't take everything over, so then I want to go in here and I want to move this. Oops, I want to move it back in here. You see how long everything's taking? And then let's say if I decide to get rid of this, and then I want to delete this. This is just taking too long, and you end up missing stuff. And then when you're listening to it and you have the artist there, or you're just working on the record, and then you end up picking up stuff that you end up hearing things that you feel like is a mistake, like, oh no, I forgot to take that out, or why isn't this playing? And then you're moving stuff over and you're doing so much manual work because you're not doing it in the proper order. So that's the issue with this thing. And then also, let's say if you want to, let's say if this is the verse, the hook, second verse, the second hook, even though it's missing stuff, right? But let's just say that was the second hook, and then you got the bridge, and then another hook, and then towards here, here's the end of the song. But let's say this part right here, you wanted to maybe try something else. So I'm gonna try to do something like this, and then you're working on it. You start adding more sounds in there, and then you're like, oh, I don't know, let me bring it back, and then you're moving stuff around, and you're trying to bring stuff back in here. This is just too much. It's doing too much. See, I just put that in the wrong spot. But that's how mistakes happen. So we're not going to do that. We're going to do it the correct way. All right, so I just undid everything. Now we got our 16 bars. So what do? We use the secondary menu right here. If you don't see yours, because I think by default it doesn't have it down, but all you do is you click on this little toolbar icon. All right, so you should see it up there just like that. Click on it and it opens up. Now, whatever we have selected here with our cycle loop, and this is why it's so important, it's going to manipulate it with these buttons here: repeat, cut, insert silence. So if I hit repeat, I can do it as many times as I want and it'll repeat it. See how quick that was? And everything is perfect to the grid. All right, so I'm going to undo that. And then you've got a couple other options like cut section. So if I repeat this, and then let's say I want to cut this bar out. So highlight that over there, I'll hit cut. It cuts it out and it slides everything over from the right side to the left. And I remember back in the day, you'd cut something out. And this is a quick way to cut, by the way. This is using the crosshair. And I'm using the crosshair by hitting the command button. See, and it turns up. And I've got the crosshair selected here. Now this is these two things right here. This is your left click and this is your secondary click, which is command click tool. So if I hit command, it changes to the crosshair. If I choose the eraser and hit command, then it turns to the eraser. And I can erase stuff real quick. 99% of the time I keep this on the crosshair in all my sessions. Every once in a while I might work on the scissor tool, but usually I'll just hit escape, which will show the whole toolbar here. And then I'll memorize these keys here if I need to go real quick. But here's scissors. You click on scissors, highlight, and then cut, highlight, and then cut. And that's how I used to do the editing before. And I believe years ago, Logic didn't have this marquee tool. This is more of a Pro Tools thing, and I love it that Logic has it now. Because that's one thing that was pretty dope about Pro Tools. It had the marquee tool, and you can just edit hecka quick with it. So I'm going to show you how I used to do it. Right, so I'll put that back. So I used to be like, okay, scissors, then you got to highlight everything. Then you got to make sure this is cut. Did we cut everything? Yeah, we did. Okay, whatever. And then I want it to cut right here. All right, then change it to the pointer. Then I'm going to go back here and delete. Okay, I missed some stuff. I mean, look how long and tedious that is. And imagine if you had a huge session and you were doing that, and then you were, moving stuff around. Oops, I messed something up down there. Undo. It's just too tedious, and you're going to make a mistake. It always happens. So let's go ahead and start laying out this song so you can see how we use this new trick. All right, so I will delete. Let me see. Let's go over here. I think this thing doesn't need to be in here, right? Okay. So now there's two ways you can do it. You can, well, pretty much we're going to do what we just saw, repeat it. You don't have to have everything lined up to the 16th bar. See, like right there, it's your choice if you want to, but it really doesn't matter. Like this right here, okay, I could do that. Right here, see, these don't line up to 16, and that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to save that. All right, so let's go ahead and lay it out. So this is 16. So my verse is going to be 16. My hook will probably be 16. Second verse will be 16. Hook again, 16. And then I'll do a bridge, which might be 8 or 16. I think it should be 8. And then we'll do maybe a double hook and then outro. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And an intro. So we'll go ahead and hit repeat. So that's our hook, repeat, second verse, hook again, bridge, hook, double hook, and then let's just throw another one in there for an outro. We might not even need that. All right, so we'll play this. Okay. So immediately I know that I don't want the hi-hats in. So I can see my 16 bars up here, it's still highlighted, so it kind of gives me a visual indicator because of the cycle loop. So I'll just hit delete. I can also hit mute. Sometimes I do, but I know for sure that I don't want those in there. All right, so I just want it to be kind of cool like that. And then I'm going to move the whole loop. And that's another thing. If you're not moving your loop like I am, you need to start moving it because your workflow is going to be way faster. So I'll just move the cycle loop over. It's still got 16 measures here as far as the start point and the end point. So when I bring it to the 17 through 33, it'll still be on 16. So I don't have to go over here and re-put it in again. Okay, so now I'm going to just move it just a little before because I want to hear it kind of come into it. Here's the hook. All right, so now I'm going to show you the fastest way to lay your song out, okay? So I've already identified that for the hook. Let's bring this over here. I wanted this synth vox to play through the whole section, the first section of the hook and the second section of the hook. And then I also just extended this FX sound. I added that too. Okay, and I did it right here too. But I'm 100% sure that, okay, this is my hook. And I know that this is my verse. Right? And then going from verse to hook sounds like this. Okay, and we can add a crash there or whatever, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to leave it like that. All right, so we've got first verse and we've got hook. All right, and you can hear the transition. It kind of picks up a little bit more and is a little more fuller in the hook. So now what we're going to do is we're going to just copy this, and then we'll have our second verse and our second hook. There we go. Second verse, second hook, copied again. There's our bridge or third verse, and then our hook after the third verse. And then what we're gonna do now is I want to double hook here. So I'll just highlight the hook again, hit repeat. Now we got a double hook, and I'll do it one more time for an outro. And there's my outro. So essentially, this is a whole song laid out super quick. So let's say I wanted to do an outro. I'm going to do Command A. Now I've got everything. Excuse me, I mean an intro. So I got everything here. Now I'll just slide it down a little bit. Maybe right there, 4 bars. And then I'm going to take the last 4 bars here. I'm using the crosshairs. And we'll just highlight the last 4 bars. Click it, it cuts it. And then we're going to option drag it over. There we go. There's my intro. We'll do it without the drums. We'll do it without this synth wave. Without this little flutter thing. There we go. There we go. We can even drop that percussion sound out. So I'll cut that out right there. Maybe I'll just have it go dun, 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 and then cut everything out. So I'll bring that up. There you go. And we can add more stuff there. We can add like a reverse cymbal or something, and then going to a crash right here. All right, and then, so that's our intro. Then we've got a verse. And then we go to the hook. Then we've got our second hook, verse. Then it goes into the hook. Then it goes here to the bridge. And I don't want it to be a 16 bar because that's going to be too redundant. Like we did that already twice. So we'll just make it an 8 bar. And change it up. So maybe right there. So maybe we'll highlight the back piece. We'll keep this. So let's get rid of the first part. And we have it highlighted. And then we're going to hit cut section. There we go. Now we've got 8 bars. And then it goes into the hook right here. This is the hook. And let's drop something out. Maybe the drums. No, let's leave the drums in. And I'm muting it. And that's what I like about it. Because I've got everything in there. So I could just mute and go through it. And see what sounds good. you go. Maybe I'll keep that like that. That sounds cool. And then we're gonna go back into the hook, and the bass is gonna come on and everything else. And let's go ahead and put a drop there. And this is really quick. Like, I would really spend more time on my drops and other details like hi-hats, cymbals and effect sounds and all that stuff. Cool. And if you notice, I didn't delete it, I just muted it because I might want to just unmute this and listen to it. Right? Or say, all right, let me hear how this sounds. That's kind of cool. So let's just leave that. You know, and that's how I figure stuff out and listen to everything, because I mute it, and then all I have to do is click and then hit M, turn it on again, turn it on again. Instead of cutting it all out, then you got to come over here and you got to open it up. I mean, that takes too much time. You're still trying to keep yourself inspired, you know what I mean? So that way you can come up with, you can keep these ideas flowing, so that way you don't hit a wall and then burn yourself out. All right, so we're going into the hook here. Okay. All right, cool. So that's pretty much it. The song is laid out. I still need to kind of do something here and fade this out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some vocals. A dope artist named Josh Watson. He wrote a hook to this song. He's still kind of putting this together. This is supposed to be his interlude, so I actually might not use this format, but this is kind of the basic song format. I'm going to bring his hook over and then just lay it in there, so that way you can see how this part of the song, how we're going to break this part of the arrangement down. All right, so hold tight. All right, so now I've got the hook in. It's a double hook. It's also 16 bars because our hook is 16 bars. So here's the other hook. And I could just simply copy this one over. That's pretty easy, and you can kind of see because it's snapping on there. Just to check, I'll go ahead and bring this over. So you can see it starts fine there. Starts on the downbeat, which is great. I mean, the word great. All right, so we want to make that a double hook. So I'll go ahead and, you know, I can do this, and we have it there. Or let's just say I didn't have any of this here. I can, going back to our principle, highlight that, and then hit that and hit it one more time, and then get rid of this because we want the double hook. And then right here, I'm going to have to drop some out. So I'll zoom in. Maybe we'll take the hi-hats out. I'm going to take the drums out too. And I think doing it for another 16 is too much. So let's go ahead and cut out this 8. So we're going to highlight that and hit cut. There we go. And we're going to mute the drums. Zoom in a little bit more. Highlight the top so I can just hit space bar to play. There we go. I'll get rid of that. Alright, and then that's going to be the outro. And I want to go ahead and just cut everything right around here. All the sounds, so that way there's more emphasis on his hook. Right there, maybe we'll do half of that. Let's try that again. Let's try that right here. Yeah, right there. And then the grate is cut off, so I'm going to just go in here. And this was cut here. If I click and drag, it's going to do the same thing for these regions. So this is actually cut into 2 regions. So just to let you know, see, it's kind of overlapping. We don't want that. So all I have to do is just make sure I highlight this end piece, end region, and then open it up. There we go. And then Just to keep it clean, I can go ahead and highlight everything, bring it in close, tuck it in there, and then fade it out, maybe about 32. There we go, that's nice and clean. And then right here, we'll do something cool with the beat. Let me be great. Just let it ride out like that. And then maybe we'll have the hi-hats come out and then maybe come back in. I don't know. Let me be great. And we'll fade it out down here. Cool, and we'll fade that out. So now to fade it out, I'm going to go to the stereo out. I've got it right here already. But if you didn't have that, I just create another track or duplicate it. Doesn't matter what track because we're going to change it. To duplicate on my settings, my key commands, it's Option and Command together and then S, and it just duplicates the track. All right, so then we're going to take this. So let's just pretend I didn't have that stereo out there. You're going to right click and go to Reassign Tracks, Mixer, Output Stereo, that one, and then you'll click on that. Now mine's disabled because I have it already selected. You can only do it once. All right, and then we're going to hit A for automation on our keyboards. It opens up the automation view. Oops. Got to be careful that you don't grab something. You have to click and drag around here. So I'll go ahead and zoom in down here. Okay. Let me be great. All right, and this thing, if you do accidentally click on another track and you activate the volume, you can either click it off. Right there. There's the sound, the power button, or if you scroll usually all the way to the left, you'll see the little dot there. Double click that and it'll get rid of it. Let me be great. Okay, so here for the stereo out, I've got automation selected by hitting A, and then we're going to click on the little line here. So I can just double click there, do another double click there, maybe another double click there, and then I'll bring this out, kind of tuck it down, bring this in where the fade should start. I'm going to add another point there, bring this in a little bit, kind of want it to end somewhere around here, and bring this in so that way I can control the fade. Let me be great. And there we go. That's our fade. I can click that, bring that in a little bit more. And then right there, that's the last, that's where the song ends. So then I can drag the cycle loop kind of like right over here. So I can bounce it, hit A again, bring this in, or bring it all the way to the beginning of the song, to the first bar. And there you go. The whole song's laid out. I've got my intro, verse, hook, got a little break going into it. Goes back into the verse, hook again, bridge. I could play some more chords, so a different chord progression here, flip the beat, goes back into the hook, double hook, and then it hits the outro like this with the hook, and then it fades out here. Real easy and real simple. You see how fast we did that, and I could have did it way faster if I was just running through it myself without doing a tutorial. So to take it a step further, if you wanted to have some markers, you could set some markers. Logic has a section where you can do markers. I think if you press this, yeah, it opens up. I usually press the hotkey G, so G will open it up on mine too. And then I use markers here. So if you click that little plus, it'll add a marker to wherever your cursor is, and then this could be the intro, and then you can also click, hit Option and move, and it'll copy it. That can be the verse. That's the quickest way I do it. This is the hook, and I'm just kind of looking at where the regions start and end. Here's the second verse. Oops, and then that's acting up a little bit. Let's add another one. So there is the hook again. So you could do it like that, or you can type in hook here, type in verse, intro, and then this is the verse again. We're going to drag this hook over, click it. This is a little tricky. You just have to click it and make sure it's draggable first, and then hold the Option key, and then bring it over here. Then it works. Click it, hold it, drag it a little bit, then hold the Option key. Okay. This is the bridge. I'll just call it bridge. And then we've got another hook. And another quick way to do it is if you just hit right click and then, escape, and then go to the pencil tool, you can do it even faster. You could just set your points. Let me do this properly. So there's the hook, and there's the outro, and there's the fade. All right, so bring it back. I'll just call this fade. I'll call this outro, and I'll call this hook again. And there we go. If I hit G again, it locks it up top, and you've got your whole song. There's another thing that you can do that I don't really use. It's this arrangement thing. Only issue with arrangement is when you move these certain things, so like we're moving it, nothing on the bottom here moves. When you do that with arrangement, everything moves with it, which is kind of cool. Maybe I'll mess with it a little bit and then do a video, but I suggest you use this first. This is the best and quickest way to do things. But yeah, I did see that you can click on this, and then there's an option here. I think it's on marker. Create from arrangement. Create markers from region. Convert to arrangement markers. There you go. Created arrangement markers. Now, if I want to copy this hook and let's say put it right here, it actually copied everything below it. So that's kind of cool, you know. But it can get messy real quick. And then if you do find yourself in arrangement view and you get frustrated because you're moving stuff around and it's messing up your song, like it did to me a while ago when I first tried this feature, you can just go to suspend content, and then you won't have to worry about that. It won't move anything around. But the cool thing with this is that you have everything built in: intro, verse, chorus, bridge, outro, and you can add more. Man, and that's it. You guys see how easy it was. Please support this channel. I just started, and I'm trying to reach out, connect with people like you guys. I'm trying to give back. If you like this video, if it helped you out, like, subscribe, push that little bell so that way you're notified every time I drop another video. If you have some suggestions of videos you want to see, production techniques, anything, just put them in the comments, all right? Let's keep it cool. Let's build a little community. Let's keep it positive. So get back to your record, make your song, all right? I'm out.